everyone, great to see you once again on the Education Business Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. It really means a lot. I only relaunched the episodes in October, I think, 2023. So I really appreciate the fact that you're coming back, even though I had a 10-month sabbatical. Something that I've been doing recently is listening to all the old episodes. Oh my word, there is so much brilliant content in there. If I do say so myself, I was listening and I was thinking, wow, this is really good. So if you haven't listened to any of the episodes in series 1, because I am going through and making sure that I split them into series now, then you should go back and you should listen to them. And something that I took from listening to those episodes was how I'm structuring the episodes now. And so I'm going to try and structure the episodes more to how they were in the beginning, because I felt they really delivered a lot of value, and I want to make sure that you feel like you are getting value out of listening to or watching on YouTube my podcast. So I appreciate that you're here and you're listening. And so today I want to talk about 4 ways to be more productive. People ask me a lot, like, how do I fit so much into my day? Personally, I don't feel like I necessarily get loads and loads done. I think I'm just normal. I suppose, though, from the outside, when you see what somebody's achieving as a whole, it can seem like maybe they're getting a lot done. So I thought, well, if I just share some of the things that I do, that could help you in areas perhaps where maybe you're not making the most of your time. So the first way I want to talk about today is about recognition. Recognizing when you're just pushing through and wasting energy. So right now, I am recording this podcast episode. I did a podcast episode earlier today, and it's 4:30 in the afternoon on a Friday. The reason why I'm recording this episode now is because I want to. My body and my mind want to. And part of that is because of the way my body as a woman works in a 28-day cycle. So I'm making the most of it now. What I could do is say, well, I've done one podcast episode. I don't need to do another podcast episode. The problem is next week, I would have to record another podcast episode. And it might be harder for me then. It might be difficult. And I could leave it to a point where I have to just push through on it. And if I leave it to a point where I have to do it and push through on it, I will make so many more mistakes. The episode will not be as good. And I will find it really, really hard, and I won't want to do it. So recognize when you're pushing through on something and try and avoid doing it then. So if, for example, I knew that I needed to do a podcast episode and it wasn't the last minute and I really didn't feel in the frame of mind to do it, I wouldn't do it. I would find something else to do. Generally something active, because what I find is when you do, it just puts your brain in a different space, something like the dishwasher. You could go for a walk if you really wanted to. You could clean the bathroom. You could vac up. It's just a different frame of mind, and then you can be more refreshed and come back to it. But I think sometimes what we do is we sit down and we go, well, I have to do this, and it takes 3 hours. And if we really looked at it, we get distracted on our phone, we end up looking at it, we're texting people, we're checking social media, we're looking out of the window, we're getting up, we're going for a coffee, we go to the toilet, we're listening into conversations across from us, like I do sometimes with Ed. If I'm just zoning out, it's just not productive. So recognize when you're pushing through and wasting that energy. And I know maybe that's counter to what some people in business say. They say, you've got to hustle hard. I don't know why I did that in an American way, probably because they're American people. But you do get that. And I'm not saying you don't have to work hard. You absolutely do have to work hard. But part of being smart about how you work is recognizing when you are trying to expend too much energy on something that you don't want to do in that moment, especially when you probably will want to do it at another point. So that's the first one, recognize. Number 2, know what your real deadlines are. Back in the day, I used to have this massive list of everything I needed to do. And I'm very much a kind of person who likes to mix and match, but also I need to know everything that's going on in my life. So on my to-do list, I'm not just going to write work things on it. And even then, I'd be like, well, is it Education Business Club, or is it Classroom Secrets, or is it these new things I'm working on? What is it? So I just have my whole life on it. And I used to have like 3 A4 pages. And then I'd come to the beginning of the week and I'd end up writing it all out again. I mean, how ridiculous is that? Now I use Motion because it is a massive, massive list, but I suppose it's not all in one massive list. I use the projects function on there, but I have everything on there basically. I have this huge list, and that helps me know what my deadlines are. If you have a list that's 4 A4 sheets, how can you really know what's important? Are you going to highlight things? Then you're going to have to write it out again when that's not important anymore and this is important. Whereas when I use Motion, at least I can put deadlines on it and I know when the real deadlines are. Because if you don't know what needs to be done first, you end up just doing anything off the list. And then it comes to the point where there is a real deadline, you realise you haven't done it, and you end up just working extra time anyway. It's just not productive. I think when it's very clear about what is your priority for a particular day, and you know what time you've got to get that done for, you actually work a lot quicker. If you're really not sure about what you should be working on, and you just don't have focus or self-imposed deadlines, then it kind of just runs on. And it can happen to me sometimes as well. I just think, well, today I'm going to listen to all these things and I'll do physical tasks at the same time. Sometimes those days are not very productive, even though I know that I need to get those certain things done. You can absolutely change how long things take based on your attitude towards the task. The third thing to do is to compartmentalise. Some people do this by time blocking, and I guess you could say that I time block, but I compartmentalise. I have certain times for certain things. So for example, on a Monday, that's my Classroom Secrets day. The board meetings are always on a Monday. I go clear out of the office on a Monday. I'll be doing different things that are my responsibility for board on a Monday. The other days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, is Education Business Club. If I was to start another business, then I might choose a specific day for it. I also have things on my Motion like life admin. I have set times when I do life admin. It's not in the school day. I do that afterwards. But my whole life is planned out by compartmentalising when I'm doing a certain kind of thing. That means you can get done all of the things you need to do. Sometimes we're really good at just going, right, I'll just do my business work. But then you don't do some of the other things that are important for your life. And as entrepreneurs, sometimes we have these big goals like travel goals, or we can let the business take over our whole lives so we never get any decorating done. So it is really important to think, right, how can I compartmentalise my time to make me more productive? And a really good thing actually is to try every day and make sure that you have active sessions as well as like sit down sessions here. So I really try and do that because it means that I'll be more productive in the sit down sessions if I've had the active sessions. And when I'm saying that, it's doing physical things like going for a walk, or maybe you've got on your to-do list that you want to clean the oven out or something. That's a physical thing, isn't it? Which brings me on to number 4, dual tasking. Because you might be thinking, why on earth would you be cleaning your oven out in the middle of a work day? Well, I don't always do that. But what I do is dual task. I was talking to somebody the other day and they said, when do you have time to listen to podcasts? I don't have time to listen to your podcast. And I was like, I dual task. I dual task to listen to podcasts, courses. I've got quite a few courses on the go at the moment. They're split out into separate videos, which is really helpful. I put all of those into Motion so I know which is the next video I need to watch or listen to. I'm always listening to something as I am doing the dishwasher, sorting the washing out, putting the washing on. So many different things that you can dual task with. Cleaning the oven, of course. If I needed to do a course, there is no way I would sit down and watch that course. What a waste of time. I would have it on my laptop. I would have my AirPods in. and it would be on the kitchen table and I would be cleaning the oven at the same time, because not only is that a good use of time, I'm learning better because I'm actually moving instead of just staring at a screen. Now, maybe that's the ADHD thing. I prefer to watch a training after it's been recorded. So I went on a webinar last night, actually, and the content was useful. I didn't learn that much. I kind of knew most of the things, but what I really liked was the fact that it was a lady who was doing this kind of thing. And I thought, yes, I'm a lady too. I could do that as well. But halfway through, I just thought, I need to download my day, because it was 5 o'clock or something. I'd only just seen Ed. He'd been at the office all day. I'd been at home in our office all day. We had a lot of things to talk about the different things that had gone on that really related to the future of our lives and the future of the companies. And I just wanted to talk to him. So I thought, well, maybe I won't listen to that. Got an email this morning, said I could do the replay. I put it on 2x speed. This woman talks really fast as well. You can just take it in so much more easily when it's on super speed. So there's that as well. I recognise I learn it faster if I'm listening faster, and I also learn it better if I'm doing something at the same time. Another thing that I've tried recently is Speechify. So I've bought Speechify, and I have to read quite a lot of documents actually now as chairman at Classroom Secret, so different articles about things, different documents, and I can read very well, but I don't enjoy it, and I get distracted all of the time. I tell you what, put Speechify on, it'll read it to me, and I could be doing something at the same time, and I'm listening better because I'm doing something as well. So that's the fourth tip. Dual task. Pair tasks everywhere you possibly can. So just as a quick recap, 4 ways that you can be more productive. My little gift to you this week. Number 1, recognise when you're pushing through and wasting energy. Do something active instead, and come back to it at the right time when your body wants to actually do it. Number 2, know what your real deadlines are. Have a better gauge of what really needs to get done and what doesn't need to get done. Number 3, compartmentalise your time. Think about what actually needs to get done when, what are you willing to do at certain points. And number 4, dual task. So pair your tasks together. Do listening tasks, courses, watching anything while you are doing something else to keep it active and save time. So I hope you enjoyed this episode and that you move forward in a more productive way this coming week.